System Test 19. It's been about a month and a half since the last video, and I think that means we're sort of due for one. The panel has two new features, and a feature that's back from the dead, and the system has a lot of interesting changes to it. Some I think you guys are going to like. First, you'll notice that I did a little bit of rewiring, so it looks way cleaner. Oh, yeah, and also, that, it's a little late for that, but, you know. Next to the panel, I've got an Edwards 270 SPO, and this one's pretty interesting because you don't need a screwdriver to open it. It still latches closed, but I guess not all the way. Kind of convenient. Above it we have a Simplex 4903-9219. So let's go and see what's by the door. By the door I have the Simplex T-Bar, the 4251-21. Opposite of that I have the 4903-9101, or no, 4904-9101 remote strobe. And you can see I attached the board that it's on to the house. It's not dangling anymore over the ceiling. And you can also see the wiring is quite a bit more organized. Well, I guess except for right there. And if we follow that, we can see it goes to the i3, which is back from the dead. If I zoom in on that, you can see. And next to it I have a Simplex 4904-9053 remote light, which normally runs on 120 volts AC, but I took those lights out and put in one of my 24 volt lights because I don't like 120 volts. It's too much. You can see that. That's the these are the original lights that were in it, I guess, for anyone that's interested. Continuing on. Right here by the furnace, I have the Edwards 276B, or I have one of the upgrades in the system. The annunciator. My panel now has an annunciator that's almost fully functional. It doesn't have a trouble LED because this is thermostat wired and it only has 4 leads in it, or it only has 8 leads in it, and I can only connect 4 different options. I can only have 4 connections. So no trouble LED. If we follow this hideous red tape up the beam here, we can see we have something kind of interesting. This is a Simplex 4903-9241. If you haven't heard of it, don't get too excited because it's basically the same thing as a 9236. It's just white. And then normally I'd move on from here, but there's actually one more little thing here. If we look up here, we can see we have another Simplex remote light, and I've also got a battery-powered smoke detector, which is acting as a placeholder for, I'm going to get a real detector, and I'm going to put it up there, connect it to the system, and we'll have 2 smoke detectors then. It's pretty cool, and I'll test that detector along with the system a little bit later. I know you guys like the cat, so there she is. And right here, dang it, focus. Right here you could see there's no strobe, but there's another battery-powered smoke detector, also acting as a placeholder. I moved the strobe, I moved the device that normally goes right there to over here now on the wall, and it's the Faraday remote light, the F9962D. And you'll see why I did that a little bit later. Alright, here we go. I could swear the pitch on that just changed. You could see the annunciator works. And there's that strobe right there. That's a 15 candela strobe. And there's the, where is it? There's the light. There's the other light. I'll turn that off so that you can see this one better. It's pretty cool. And then here's the Faraday light. This is pretty dim. I think it's supposed to have two lights in it, but the bottom one doesn't appear to be turning on. Let's reset, and look at this, watch this. If you have this on a back box that's not flush mounted, you can pretty easily open it from the back, which is pretty cool. I've set the system off once, so we're going to take a little bit of a break, and you guys are going to see why I put that board there. And to do that, I'm going to have to cut to a point in the day when it's night. Before I demonstrate the panel's new feature, I have to show you what's inside here. So this is my pathetic attempt at setting up a battery backup system with a couple of relays. The first mistake I made was that these are 12-volt relays, so I had to figure that into everything. And the second mistake I made was that I was missing a diode, and I didn't figure that out until earlier today. It was a terrible setup because I was using 9-volt batteries, which I should have learned my mistake from the first time. B, this breadboard is in a very poor condition. It's missing the sticky part on the back, which is why it's got electrical tape on it. However, I do have the other half of that story set up to show you guys. So let's say for a moment that it's raining really hard outside or something and the power has gone out. In a building, what usually happens when the power goes out? Well, let me show you. If the panel had battery backup and this was on auto, it would turn on by itself, but since it's not, I'll just turn it on manually. So you can see it got a little bit brighter in here, and that's because I have a system of emergency lights also set up. And they're just the basic 24-volt lights. I've got one there. And this is the reason I put this board over here, is because, as you can see that light right there, that's directly over our sump pump, so that you wouldn't need to bring a flashlight down here to see it, to plug it into the generator. I need to set it up so that if it comes to a situation where the power goes out, these come on their own. Also need to fix that. That's the second problem with the emergency lights, is that they start flickering, and that's because both of these combined only supply 2 amps, and I don't think that's enough to run all the emergency lights at once. But yeah, my system now has emergency lights, and I'm going to try to experiment with a few different types of emergency lights, like LEDs. I have incandescent ones. I'm going to try out different wattages of incandescent lights, that sort of thing. Alright, I'm going to cut back to daytime and we'll be testing out the 270 SPO. Alright, now let's test the 270 SPO. That's the 9238, and of course it's out of focus again. That's the cat. And down there is the 9219. This is on the side with the 9219 on it. And you can hear it. You can hear it down there. Not too loud from outside. Definitely don't think the neighbors can hear it. In fact, I'm sure they can't. Alright, so let's put it into code 3. We'll test the Simplex T-bar. Oh, I almost forgot one thing. Since the smoke detector is working, that means that trouble is also working. So look what I did. Hold on, I have to find my step stool. There you are, my precious. Come with me. And I'll activate the detector here in a second. But watch this. You can see it's up here, it's working. When I take it down, it's in trouble, and the panel beeps now. It's got a buzzer, and I'm using the dreaded 555 timers, and so, and it silences itself. Let's pick up one of these here, and I guess we'll just kind of do one of these numbers, if I can find the, there it is. Before I start wrapping this up, I'll also test out these battery-powered detectors, because I know there are people that are interested in that. So here's this one. This is a here. This is a U.S. Electronic Incorporated. There's a ton of text on it. Oh dear. Oh, it's fallen off. Well, okay, it fell off the ceiling, but here. And there you go. I wasn't actually sure how long that would go on for. And then I'll also test this detector right here. So there's that. And I guess the batteries are gonna die. So I'll have to replace that. That's a load of crap. I just put a battery in there. Well, I was going to test the heat detector, but somebody ran off with my god dang lighter again, so I guess we'll just use the drill button and I'll end the video. So here we go. Continuous. And you can hear the panels beeping again. It wasn't doing it before because I had the buzzer disconnected because it gets kind of annoying. But you can hear it. You can hear it goes with the code. It's actually acting kind of okay right now. But that's it. That's it for System Test 19. I mentioned this in the New Year's video, but if you didn't watch that, then you didn't hear it. Between the last video and this video, this channel not only got 1,000 subscribers, it's now sitting at 1,130 something, which is pretty cool, I would say. So thanks for that. I think we're also about to pass 600,000 total views, which is also pretty cool. I might make a half test or a quarter test sometime between this one and the next one. If I decide to replace the emergency lights with LEDs or other types of lights, I think it might be interesting to see. And also, as far as the battery powered detectors go, I'm going to see if I can get my hands on a System Sensor 400 series, because that's the detectors that are part of the house, that are part of our security system. Those are System Sensor 400 detectors. So it would be nice to have one that's right next to that one. And then I guess something else that might be interesting to people is those detectors. Those are also part of the house, but they're not connected to the security system. Those I think those are from that Fire X brand or whatever it is. Alright. That's it. Thanks for watching.